It's a really good feeling when all is well in the world. All right, no Nexus events, nothing out of order, just E3, not E3, getting bigger and better last minute. And then Sega had a show this morning and Sonic Frontiers still looks bonk. So you know nothing is amiss. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Almost forgot. Good morning, Mario. And good morning. Anyways, we are ready to go. Make sure to hit that like button if you're excited. This week is really ramping up, and there's a lot of breaking Switch news that I think will be a game changer for many of you, plus some interesting news tidbits that I definitely want to share, and an old friend of Nintendo is back feeling left out. So anyways, let's get into it. Hope you guys are all doing fantastic, and here we go. All right, first off, returning in the left corner, E3. They really are feeling left out. This is the first time E3 hasn't had like a significant share of the summer palooza, and they're sad about it. So they wanted to let you know that they are 100,000,000,000% coming back in 2023. They said we will return. The president says we're excited about coming back. The Empire Strikes Back in 2023. They say it'll be a physical and digital show. People will be there in person. People will be there online. And they're not gonna let Jeff just own the video game space. Stan Pierre-Louis, who is the CEO and president of the ESA, the organization that puts on E3, or used to, and I guess will, says we're excited about coming back in 2023 with both a digital and in-person event. As much as we love these digital events, and as much as they reach people and we want global reach, we also know there's a really strong desire for people to convene, to be able to connect in person, see each other, and see what makes games great. So it sounds like LA will be the hub next June, and it'll be back, and I'm interested to see how that works. A year without E3 more than ever teaches companies you probably don't need it, but maybe they'll want some of it again. I don't know. These things all ebb and flow, and I'm super curious. I'm gonna try to go and see what it's like. I'll cover that for you in a year's time. But right now, let's focus on the current E3, not E3. And we got a new addition to the lineup. Oh, and by the way, if you're looking for a memory card, this is the one. The Lexar Play Card is the best Switch memory card. All right, it's the fastest, it's the safest, it's the best, and it can be the biggest because they go up to 1 terabyte, which will take every game. All right, that is a lot of storage for Switch games. I think Strikers Battle League is something like 1.8 gigs. That's so tiny. You can fit like 1,000 of those on a terabyte card, but they also have 512, 256, and 128. This is an amazing memory card, and every time you click the link in the description down below, it helps support the channel. So definitely check out the Lexar Play Card. It is my memory card of choice for over a year now, so you know it's got that official, big, double thumb up SwitchForce seal of approval. As Capcom is having a 35-minute showcase on June 13th. So that'll be next Monday. They're rocking and rolling with already announced titles. Now this is kind of interesting because already announced could have different implications. We do have Summer Game Fest on Thursday, and something new could be announced there, and by Monday it would be already announced. Now we know they're gonna have Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, so at least one thing for Switch fans. Who knows if they'll have other things, platform announcements of that sort, but I primarily am most excited for Resident Evil Village DLC. I don't know if we'll ever see Resident Evil Village on the Switch, but I love that game, and I know it's not like a Nintendo thing, but I just wanted to tell you because the game is so darn good. And if you have any opportunity to play Resident Evil Village, it's one of the best like modern implementations of like a classic linear storytelling single-player shooter. And sometimes I miss those games, and they're really cool and really fun. If you can't play it, then Doom Eternal is getting a physical edition thanks to limited run games, previously downloadable only, and one of the best third-party shooter ports on Nintendo Switch, so that covers it for you. But we will be covering the Capcom show on Monday afternoon, see what they got, anything cool, and how they're amping up things for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, which is out in just a couple weeks. Now then, let's talk about something potentially devious, okay? Potentially, not totally, just sort of kind of maybe, all right? It could be completely legit, and this is completely legit, the news of it, which is that finally, after years and years, you can, like literally 6 years, right? Yeah, this is the 6th year of Switch. 6 years later, you will officially be able to use your Pro Controller and Joy-Con on your iPhone, which means you can finally play Nintendo games, you know, the ones on iPhone and the ones that are not supposed to be on iPhone, with the actual Nintendo controllers, and you can play games you wish were on Switch with Nintendo controllers, kind of making it feel like they are. This was uncovered by some Twitter users and then was verified by an engineering manager at Apple that yes, iOS 16 will natively support the Switch Pro controllers and the Switch Joy-Con. So now something like Diablo Immortal, which is gaining a lot of steam, you can play with a Switch controller. Gaming on Switch, but you can sure make it feel like that. And just in case Nintendo does not drop that GBA emulator for the Switch and Switch Online as they should, and we know they're planning, you have alternative options. Or you could play something like, I don't know, Call of Duty Mobile with a Pro controller if that's your preferred way. Or the Final Fantasy games that have not yet made their way to Switch, you can play them on mobile with Switch controllers. And if you're someone that doesn't have like an Xbox or PlayStation controller, don't want to invest in something that you can't use with your Switch, well, now you've got a great option, and maybe some of those mobile games that previously seemed not all that appealing will be better suited. I think it's a cool upgrade for iPhone. It's cool that they're recognizing Nintendo Switch controllers. It's cool that it's coming together. And now we have Apple and Nintendo at least unified for a day. So who will Nintendo not work with, right? They've done Microsoft with some of those games like Ori and Cuphead. They've done Sony sort of with MLB The Show, and now Apple. Who's left? I guess Disney? Like who does Nintendo need to wine and dine to really just be like working with everybody? Let me know in the comments down below if you like that iOS 16 releasing later this year will allow you to play with Switch controllers, and if there's a game or two that you can think of, or maybe even a whole collection that you can play now with your already existing Switch accessories. Okay, let's take a minute to just talk Sonic. I don't want to beat a dead echidna, but they did this Sonic Central show and they literally ran like 3-second clips of what they had to show. They're like, and now a brand new sneak peek of the Netflix show. And it was like a pan, oh, coming soon. And now the intro prologue from Sonic Frontiers, a far off zoomed out shot. That's it. And then they're like, okay, exclusive gameplay. And they did a countdown, 3, 2, 1. And I'm pretty sure the gameplay was shorter than the countdown. I don't get it. Now, hands-on impressions have come out for the first time from IGN, and apparently they say it's kind of fun. I don't know if I buy it. IGN is doing a whole month-long deal with Sonic Frontiers, so that deal's not looking so hot if they come out first impressions and say it's not great. But I still think that game looks like a tech demo. And Sega themselves are referring to this as an open zone game, not an open world game. I don't know what happens in the zone as opposed to the world, but it's quite clear that, yeah, they are aware they didn't make a world. And we even have fans petitioning to get them to delay this game because that's how not hot it looks. Sonic is about to be fast and he's about to be cool and he's about to be in an open zone, but I don't know that it's going to come together. This is apparently releasing this holiday. That gives them a couple of months before they got to go gold. And I don't think you can make such major changes in that time. We'll keep tabs on it. That was the weirdest showcase ever. I hope none of the upcoming showcases from Microsoft, Jeff Keighley, Nintendo, Capcom, Devolver, I hope none of them operate like that. 3 seconds of gameplay. 1 second of the Netflix. It's just, I don't know how they plan these things. I don't know. A computer could probably plan it better. If you gave it to like an algorithm, it could probably. Anyhow, that's enough Sonic for today. Let's talk about Zelda. Interesting that Nintendo is focusing on Breath of the Wild for June. Is it? Now, I don't know that this means anything, but if you want to get all conspiratorial, go for it. Nintendo has revealed their new icons and avatars for the month of June. And of course, it's the Animal Crossing New Horizons June birthdays. And it's Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild in June. Now, this could be complete nothing, right? Because they've done Splatoon, Mario Kart, Kirby. They're kind of rolling through it. Doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it's interesting that they chose Breath of the Wild for June. Maybe there will be some Breath of the Wild 2 news in the future, or maybe they just want to remind you that Zelda is a part of the Avatar project as well. Now they need to get Avatar on the Avatar project. All right, I don't know. I think the Avatar things are really cool. The missions and rewards that they put on Nintendo Switch Online, I do like that. And I'm excited because I think this service is about to expand. We've talked about GBA. We've talked about Mario Kart DLC. Mario Party DLC is something that I also think could get added to Expansion Pass. And we'll talk about all our full predictions at a later date as we approach next week. But I think Switch Online is in a great position. And I think little stuff like this, while on the surface isn't a lot, I think it's all added together to make this maybe the best value across the platforms, which sounds weird, but considering the cost, $4 a month, it's still so darn cheap. Even the expansion pass I'm talking about, $4 a month, it's still so darn cheap. One last thing that is kind of fun that I want to bring to your attention is that they've uncovered documentation that shows Nintendo did re-release the original Switch to combat hackers and piracy. You might remember that back in 2018, they redid the Switch. They red boxed it. Do you remember this? Well, it didn't come to Redbox. Are Redboxes still a thing? They're still around, right? When's the last time you Redboxed? Anyways, the Switch put it in a red box, and it was like a V2 Switch, but nothing really was all that different. But one of the things that was different was their lockdown, and they did this specifically to combat hackers and piracy, like Gary Bowser himself, who it's now commented they wanted to make an example out of. They put the dude in prison for being a Nintendo pirater, and now he is sailing the 7 seas of jail, which is not something to cheer for at all. But it's interesting that Nintendo made this such a priority. They wanted to like stick it to somebody to set an example, and they changed the system, reboxed it, and had to come up with a new version for the main purpose of combating this. So they take it very seriously, and I think the fact that the Switch is region-free, maybe it brought about some interesting different situations for them and some challenges that they weren't quite ready for at launch, and then they quickly figured out, oh gosh, we got to do this, 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 and this, and they kind of closed the system off a bit better. I mean, I don't like cheaters at all. I mean, hacking is just obviously completely wrong and not good, so I'm fine with it, but it's really just an interesting part of the Switch story, and when you look at all the different models of Switch, that one, and because of an OLED screen, and because of a smaller kid-friendly form factor, it's because of Bowser. Gary Bowser. So E3, not E3, is bigger. E3 is coming back next year, and the iPhone is your newest Switch screen, sort of, kind of. Maybe let me know what you're going to do with all of that in the comments down below. We do got that Nintendo Direct coming. It's coming, and we will cover it, so make sure to stay tuned for that. In the meantime, everybody, thanks so much for watching. I love you a lot, appreciate you even more. Have a fantastic, wonderful day. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there, and until next time, SwitchForce, out.